Hey, what's going on everyone? Supreme Kami here. We're going to be going over the four simples, the 1 to 100 scale alteration of this guy over here. So another addition to the big scale alteration over here. So that is good to see. These five, the original five has not, I want to say age, but we do need something that's, kind of like work out some of the word text we are having like trouble with like subsliding, I would say. Let's see what four simples offer us over here. So we have 9 parts to go over. Alright, I'm not gonna do like a stat review for these guys over here, just because they're not gonna be like the top tier one. They're not gonna be like the high end runner. They won't be like your number one, for example, like melee or shot attack over here. As for like, so if you guys don't know, like new players, right? Just watching this one, for example. So these big scale alteration does have an non-conditional scale difference of 20%. So if you subslot it to any of your parts, you get a non-conditional 20%. So if you have one matching word tag, you get up to 10. You get 10 more percent, and then you have two of the same word tag, you get in total 40% in total. And then if you are subslotting to the same part, so because we do have the P type force inputs, you'll be getting up to 50.5%. So that's how it works. Let's see what we're doing, dealing with over here. The status, I want to say, is that impressive over here. Like judging from the head over here, like shot attack is like really low, melee attack is obviously really low. The like both the defenses doesn't really make up for it. This will be a pretty good subslop option. Like look at those tags. You have what is it, pro tag and close combat over here. Like that's a really good combo for a melee build over here. As for the portrait, you have one good word tag though. Portrait over here, you have the back part, EX power boosted by 30%, so that's good. And then when you have alpha job, recover armor gradually by 200. So this is something not too, I wouldn't say really needed. They're not too relevant, I would say, unless for last week when we took on that Asimo Inferno mission. Yeah, that was helpful. Like if you have this all the way up to level 10, right? Just if you look at base level 1, like a lot of people would have, they would have summoned on this banner, right? You would get that 17% and then a 50 armor health recovery gradually. This is like, these are good for subslot, obviously. So hopefully if you are to subslot onto like the head, hopefully the head has a portrait already, or else if you want to use this portrait over here, you're gonna be sacrificing that one portrait for like a bad one portrait over there. So finally they did something right with the four symbols over here, giving it the right correct word tag over here. Because Shinasuke is the protagonist of Gundam Seed Destiny, so it would be fitting to give him pro tag for a unit, right? So this one they did a pretty good job. Close combat, I would say they kind of push. They are pushing a little bit. Mid range would be a good option, like they did for the P type original. That was like no question asked, because he was never like really too close in combat, I would say, in that force impulse pack over here. But all right, close combat is good nonetheless over here. Let's see, just check out the stats. Wow, look at that melee attack. That is not bad. If you do some change gear, you are looking at probably closing into 4,000, or maybe even reaching that 4,000. So that's not bad. That's actually pretty impressive over here. Good tags as well, so no need to go over that. Really excellent. Portrait is actually not too shabby at all. Like I said, I don't really care too much about like enemy EXP power reduction over here. I mean, some people might have likings for that if you guys are doing like a full on defense build over here, but like in my taste, I don't really care too much about it. Alright, so I had to make a little quick cut over there, but the second portrait is really good, I would say. You always need that melee power over here, so this is not a bad combo if you guys are someone that doesn't really mind too much about having like that EX power reduction. It will come in handy, right? But the second portrait is excellent as well over there. In theory, this one, I mean, like for melee build, there are a lot of like pretty good like the main slot. There's a lot of good ones already. Like let me see if I can think of some off the top of my head. Like you can look for like The Lupus Rex, like both the Barbados Lupus and Lupus Rex, does have a pretty good set of portrait already, and they have word tag that fits this like right perfectly. So I think you can get up to like a 40% if those two have the same word tag, like close combat and pro tag. You can get yourself up to a 40%, which is good. This is definitely not bad, because that melee attack is good, really good. As for the arm, we have a EX skill over here. It's gonna be a repair. What is it? What does the Y stands for? Let me do know. I'm not too like I don't even know what the Y symbol looks like, or what is it over here. So, anyways, this one's gonna give you a squad recovery of 68. Now max armor over here, so that is pretty good. Maybe. It's always good to have these kind of EX, I would say. In terms of melee attack on this one, it's okay, right? It's okay. Nothing like too. It wouldn't outshine the other one, I would say. It's around the same general area as for the stats. So, if you compare this to like the Ixia, like the 4-form Barbados, or even the L Strike, they are kind of on par. It is really, we're just mainly trying to look at some of the word tags over here. You have pro tag, and for base, I mean for base is kind of probably not. Like I have used the example of L Strike, Barbados, and Ixia for many of the reviews, and they would pair up pretty good, because they have good word tag that supports it. Because a lot of arm, like the top tier arm that we have, like namely we have like the unicorn crystallized version of it, that one got like an EX skill, right? So you wouldn't pair this one up because you want some portrait that kind of pairs up along with that. So this one might not be a good option. If you are pairing up with like, I don't know, if you are pairing up with like the Night Unicorn, that one have a pretty good EX skill, but I don't think the word tag kind of supports it. So at max you're gonna only get that 20%. So this armor over here, I would say it's a little bit underwhelming, just because they throw enough for base tag over here. I would have actually liked if they would have just swapped this one with like close combat and put this one on any of the other part, because like a melee build, you want an arm to be like really beefed out. So this one might not take the cake. So I think the other one will be like the older ones, like the L Strike, Ixia, and Barbados Warform. I think those would be still a better candidate if you want to subslide like a 1-to-1 scale. So let's move off on here, going on to the leg over here. The offensive stab is a little bit too low, so even if you do like not change gear, if you put this onto like sub slot, I don't think it would have too much impact. But the defense obviously is really good. Having that shot defense a little bit higher, unfortunately. So tags are, I mean, you have pro tag, so you have one good one, right? Pro tag and for base, so you can kind of work something out on this end over here. For the portrait, we have one good one over here with speed attribute, EX power boost by 30%, which is good. And then before 60-second passes, 30% chance not to recoil, so you won't get knocked down per se. So knocking down is not something like this is the second portrait is kind of just like, why, you know, like all these 1-to-1 scale alteration does have some, like one of the portrait is bad, so this one is one of them over here. Like, why would they throw like a do not recoil chance over here? So that's bad. Moving on to the backpack over here, we do have an EX skill over here. This is gonna be the Strike Punisher. So this one we have that for the L Strike. So if the L Strike ever does have an alteration, so these are the kind of stat we can be looking at, A+ and B+ split over here. No effects though, so unfortunately. So in terms of the stat, you are leaning towards another melee centric over here. Like that melee attack is bad, but it's a little bit better than a shot attack, right? Defense wise, okay, shot defense is a little bit better. Is it because of the spaceship armor? Is it this one? I know it has spaceship armor, but which one is it? I know there's a lot of different types, so do let me know which one exactly does this one have. I'm pretty sure it's just the spaceship armor. It's not the trans spaceship or like any of those. I'm just sure it's the regular spaceship armor, right? So That's why it's a little bit more beam resistant, or in this game, or shot defense is a little bit more higher than your melee over here. If that's the case, I think the beam resistance should be a little bit higher as well, right? So I don't know. Yeah, do let me know that. No, it will be ballistic, right? Yeah, okay. I'm not gonna get too much into those specific details of it, but that's why it's a little bit higher in shot defense, I think. In terms of the tags, we're looking at protect and for base again. Like, okay, all right, we get it. They want to kind of shape it a little bit as well. So all right, so the beam saber here, you have some shot defense. Like, all right, so this one would be a good option for like a shot build, but not those tags over there. You have close combat and pro tag, which are two good option over here, but obviously you don't want like a shot defense and like melee build. So I think as of right now, the top tier choice is still using the double Xia, the T Xia, and then the S Xia as they both sub slot each other, or either or. So this one is not going to take the cake at all. In terms of the EXQ over here, their job gauge increased by 17%. I don't think that's too necessary, right? I don't think that's not going to take the cake for like a good portrait over here. The second one is the one is like the melee power reduction. This one is just really personal. Just like if you want to build out like a really tank unit, I would say, if that's your liking, as for like your relief unit for people to use, I guess that's a good one to use. But other than that, this one wouldn't serve too much purposes if you want to like damage dealing, I would say. So this one is, yeah, it's just there, right? It's just there for like a good option for us. I don't think these parts here are supposed to be like, oh, meta breaking or game breaking, I would say. All right, so we have the folding laser anti-armor knife over here. The tags are pro tags and for base over here. So all right, they're teasing us with that for base tag over here. As for the EXQ portrait over here, we are looking at wind speed attribute, melee power boost by 30%, and then the 26% chance of attacks penetrating super armor. That penetrating super armor is not going to be something too important, I would say. So this one is probably like another bad one. It's only 26% too, so chances are you might not get that to go up. So this is another bad example of like a part you can use. But I mean, 1-to-100 skill parts is a 1-to-100 skill part. There's always going to be some usage out of that. So maybe like in later reviews, I think I can take benefits of these parts over here, like the new one being this one over here. That's a good sub slot. As for the beam rifle, I mean, the stat is not too bad. It's definitely up there, I would say. You have good shot defense, so if you want to throw this in like your shot build, I guess that will work as well, right? In terms of the EX over here, you have another one of those enemy shooting power reduction by 30%. I mean, this actually fits the word tag because you have 4 base, so obviously you kind of want it to be a little bit more defensive in a way. I guess that kind of works. So this one may be a good option if you guys are trying to make that like defensive tank unit. Yeah. And then after 10 seconds have passed, reduce cooldown by 50% once. So this one can be helpful, like the second portrait can be helpful at times, but not all the time. Like after that 10 seconds has passed, this portrait will just render to useless. Alright, moving on to the last part over here, the shoe. The shot defense, like I said, is a lot more higher just because I think with the face shape armor S kind of stuff, so that's good. Good tags as well. You have pro tag and close combat, really good combo, and again you have another one of those. This one is only locked to like a strong melee attack, so only the last hit, that's when you get that 30% reduction, which is not good. With speed attribute, special shot crit raise by 40%. I mean, you don't want why would you want shot crit up on a melee based unit? I have no idea. So this one is probably not going to be something good. These part would be good if you are not looking just purely for the portrait over here. They are really good just for the purely for stat sticking over here. I think that's gonna be a good option. All right, so we're gonna quickly jump over to these two units over here, the unicorn Phenex and then the double riser. Not the double riser, my gosh, I kept saying the double riser is actually the 007 sword. I'm just gonna quickly name out some parts that you like. Just gonna say, should you summon on this one? Probably not, because these two units have kind of aged already. Like just for example, right, you have the beam magnum over here. Look at that stat. That shot attack is probably not going to be on par with some of the stuff we have in today's meta. Like let's take an example of the build projects double Z Gundam, right? Better stat, you have some shot defense as well, so that's gonna carry a lot more better than this one over here. Like the kids, like the tags or tags, a trait are exactly the same. It's just the stat differences over there, so that's why I say kind of age a little bit. Even a strike freedom that we have for last week, revive alteration, that one is a little bit more better in set as well. I believe the tags are a little bit similar. I think instead of high firepower is Gundam type, so you have a little difference over there, but I think the trait were the same as well. So a lot of these parts kind of aged a little bit, namely. So here's what they did, right? Let me just quickly sidetrack to the shop over here. If you guys did summon for any of the banner this week, right, you can hop over to the event blueprints, and then you can actually like you can just exchange, like if you have for this week, right, you have no name material A, you can just actually exchange that for the L badge for either the 007 sword or the unicorn Phenex over here. So let us go back to the alteration page over here and then continue just briefly go over some parts that I think are good. If you guys do have some parts to tell, right, because the people have been doing like the frequent step up banner, because those step up banner contains every Sokai's limited best parts, so chances are you might get one of these parts over here. As for the leg will be a second option to alterate out of this badge over here. In terms of the stat, obviously it's not going to be too impressive, but what we're mainly trying to look at is going to be this set of portrait over here. When you have high firepower, EXQ reduction by 20%, which is good. And then unfortunately the second portrait is only locked to a back part over here, so only your back part EXQ is going to benefit from this 35% buff. I think another good option, like another better one, I think is the build project for Psycho Chest Breaker. I think it has the same reward tag as this one over here, having that EXQ CD reduction by 20%. So you guys do have the T build project for Psycho Chest Breaker. I think that's a better option than this one over here. Other than that, if you guys like the unicorn Phenex like backpack as the EXQ, I mean by all means you can alterate it, but you do get some health recovery, but you don't get any like attack buffs, so that's gonna be purely depends on your personal preference over there. This one probably won't be on the main part as well. It's probably gonna be on your skin because the stat is obviously a lot lower than a lot of parts out here. Alright, moving on to the 007 sword over here. So a lot of parts of the 007 sword has been, I would say, replaced by the double riser. You have the double quanta. I think those two have kind of replaced this by a little bit. I'm not really gonna go too deep into this, like talking about this over here. I think namely you want to probably alter it if you do have it. I do not 100% do not suggest summoning for these two banner over here. If you guys do really like it, I would highly suggest to wait until Thursday just to see if they're gonna drop anything surprise over here. Why is this one good? Because you have this over here. You get an initial cooldown by 20%. If you are using an infighter job over here, obviously that's gonna be easy to satisfy. It just depends on like how your job license, obviously. The second portrait is a little bit more limited to beam type, so that's gonna be something you're gonna have to work on. But the portrait, like that EXQ power boost by 35% is always gonna be relevant. You do have pretty good stat as well, right? You got good melee attack, you got good melee defense. That is a pretty good set of weapon to use on a melee build over here. You guys do want some good EXQ, like a good 30-second EXO, I would suggest this one over here. So this one after alteration is going to do D pierce and A minus power, but you also get a melee raise of 34%. So this one is a pretty good option if you guys are looking for some EXQ that ties into some attack buffs over here. So this one would be a pretty good option as well. As for the top three, like the head, chest, and the back and the arm, they're not something too impressive nowadays. Like this one is like this set of portrait is exactly the same as the double riser, and then what is it, double quantum. So I think stat is even lower than those two, so that's why it's not going to be a good option. As a war tag, you have Gundam type, so that's going to kind of kills the build in a way. If this one was another melee buffing tech, I think it would be a little bit more relevant just because of Gundam type. I don't think this one is something you really need to alterate. Alright, moving on to the chest just to quickly talk about, right? You are looking at pretty good first war tag over here, but if you take a look at base level 1, you only get that buff 4%, only going to be 4% to that EXQ effect buffs over here. This one speed, when you have speed attribute, revive with 30 armor once only. These are not too niche, I would say. It's not something you would like want to focus on. I think if you are gonna die anyways, I don't think this one would be too important. Most people might just have a base level 1, so you guys want like this, mainly this over there. You can probably look at some good free-to-play option, like I think a few weeks ago we have the head Mr. Bushido version. I think the chest holds a similar property as this one over there, so that's a good free-to-play option. But this one at max you're going all the way up to 60%, so that's obviously double that. But I mean, a free-to-play option can probably just satisfy this one instead of you trying to summon for it and trying to alterate this one and waste your tools over there. Alright, moving on to the arm. I think the arm didn't age too well because the set is extremely low. I think if you do like to change gear, I don't think you're breaking 10k with this pair of arm over here. In terms of the portrait, obviously you're looking at a double melee buff over here. So this one is around buff only, so if you jump into the battle and then you don't get any buffs off, so this one will not activate at all. So both of these are good war tags over here, but if you look at the war tags over here, you do have Gundam type over here, so that's gonna hinder the build by a little bit, I would say. I think this one you can sub-slot perfectly into the Barbados, right? Let me just take a quick check. Barbados, I think, have close combat. Come on. Oh, alright, you have Gundam type high firepower. I thought one of them had Gundam type. I think it was this one, right? Or this one have high mobility? Yeah, high mobility and close combat. So, I mean, either one of them works, but you wouldn't sub-slot it to this guy over here. This one will not work. Nope, this one will not work over here. So, other than that, if you guys have a liking for the custom EXQ backpack, I think that's something you can alterate. I wouldn't have like a problem with that. But mainly, do you want to summon it? I'll highly suggest don't do it. These are not the valued banner, I would say. I think the rate was good. Let's just quickly take a look. So we have done everything over here. Just talk about a few parts that I think are good for alteration, but not all of them are good at this point in time, just because like I'm not even going back to the stat because they're not something that's in the top realm anymore, not in the top 20. I think the leg is still up there, but you have a portrait over here, like you have EXQ, so you're gonna have to sub-slot something that has a good tag. So the double Kwanzaa takes the kick out of this one, so this one is not gonna be too good. Alright, so we're gonna quickly go to the capsule page over here. Just take a look at the rates real quick. I think the rates are better as you go up, right? So wait, hello? Oh, it's only this, so it's only 16%, so never mind. So it's gonna be bad, so don't summon these two. These are just baits banner. I don't think you guys should really need to focus on them. As for these two, alright, so these one they'll always come back. Just wait 1 month and then they'll be able to be exchanged under the 4-star pick ticket. So they're not something you really need to rush, I would say. I think waiting a month is just okay because just the sheer amount of like parts you get every week already. So I think there's something you can 100% skip as well. So with that being said, hopefully this helps you in deciding, alright, do I want to summon on this or not? And then as for the revive alteration, It just really depends on like if you guys really like them, but I highly suggest don't summon it. Just don't summon on it just because of how I wouldn't say bad their stats are. I just think they didn't age too well in comparison to a lot of recently released unit like that we have already. So with that being said, thank you guys for watching, and then I'll catch you guys on the next one.